So I have decided to try something a bit new with the B-roll for my videos. And so I've got some recorded footage of me playing on a website that I was obsessed with when I was younger, and it's called Fupa. I didn't learn until several years after I had gotten into that website that Fupa had a certain meaning to it. There is one thing, well, numerous things, but only one I'll be discussing today, that I've known for certain ever since I was a wee lass. I don't want to reproduce. That's not to say that I don't want to have kids. I very much do want to have kids. I just want to adopt rather than create them myself. More specifically, I want to adopt older children. The ones who have a harder time being placed because they're not as desirable as newborn babies. I've known this for more than half of my 22 years on this earth. I've known this ever since I first saw Meet the Robinsons. Lewis's lamentation on the woes of being an older child in the foster care system really spoke to 10-year-old me. Over the following 12 years, I cultivated that seed of an idea, discovering more and more motivation for my plan. For one thing, I would skip the infant-toddler stage, where the child is entirely dependent on its parents for everything. I love babies, but I don't think I could handle entire years of that. And I just don't think I could subject my body to an entire 9 months of pregnancy. There's also the fact that overpopulation is a thing. But the main reason I don't want to reproduce is that I don't think I could ever come to terms with creating a new child when there are plenty of perfect ones already in existence. For some reason that I can't fathom, people get really fucking offended by that. It's not just my parents and family, though my mom is not too excited. People I've met and talked to on the bus and then never seen again get offended by the fact that I want to adopt rather than reproduce. They aren't surprised or confused, but blatantly offended by a stranger's life plan that has no bearing on their lives. The response always boils down to, don't you want to have your own kid? Apparently, one can only be someone's child if they share their genes. I'm going to go find some orphans and inform them that they can never have parents because their genes are wrong. And when the time comes that I am financially and emotionally ready to become a parent, I'll look them in the eyes and tell them, I want to be a mom. And you seem like a wonderful child. I'd love to be your mom. But you're genetically inferior to any child that I could produce. So I can't. Bye. That scenario plays out in my head every time some jackass drops the your child argument. If I adopt a child, welcome them into my heart and home, that is my child. I am their mom. I chose that child. Why would a child that I actively chose to raise and love be less mine than one made with a broken condom? Why are people so offended by the fact that I want to make a home for a child who needs one? Of all the things I have seen people get offended by, this is far and away the most baffling. Now, if I was getting in their face and calling them selfish for making their own kids, I could understand the upset. I may be a cunt, but I'm not that much of a cunt. I hate confrontation and am not one to start fights. And here's a little bonus grievance of mine for those of you masochists who have actually bothered to sit through my rambling. People who don't do the job they're being paid to do are the bane of my existence. I take great pride in my work ethic and always have. I was initially hired only to do laundry at the hotel where I currently work. It's a one man job that requires approximately zero skill. And I did the best fucking job I possibly could in that laundry room. I streamlined the process, made it more efficient. People knew when I'd been there because of how neat and organized everything was and by how much I managed to get done in 4 hours. I made myself the best laundry attendant that hotel had seen. So, when someone gets called out on not doing their job and has the gall to act offended by the accusation, I kinda want to rip their eyes out with a claw tooth hammer and shove a curling iron up their minge and turn it on high. That is all. Adios, muchachos.